Hello, hope you had a pleasant day. If you did, we sure make it more pleasant. And if you had a bad day, we'll remedy that on the program with stories with that extra touch that makes your day. Tonight, the president is in Egypt. I'm sure what is going on there will interest you. Also today, there was a royal assembly where Vice President Osinbajo made a special request. We'll tell you about it too. Interesting things happened today at the National Assembly. We have the details here. And of course, we have human angle stories that celebrate Nigerians, making us proud overseas. Is it business-related stories? We have. Development stories? We have. Security? We have. And wait for the significance of Christmas carols and 9 lessons. Is your appetite whetted? If yes, let's give you the serving as the taste of the pudding is in the eating. I am Fatima Umar, and this is News Extra. And we begin. African leaders have begun a brainstorming session in Aswan, the Arab Republic of Egypt, towards finding Africa-led solutions to the problems confronting the continent for sustainable peace and development. President Muhammadu Buhari is leading Nigeria's delegation to the forum, which has as its theme peace, progress, and prosperity. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo reports.
With immense potential, rich in resources, as well as a riding wave of urbanization, industrialization, as well as economic diversification, Africa's importance to global economy cannot be glossed over, both as a market as well as an engine of growth. This great promise is, however, under threat as the continent is undermined by myriad of crises, challenges and risks to peace, security and development. The Aswan Forum, initiated by the African Union Chairman and President of Egypt, Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, therefore provides the first kind of platform for President Muhammadu Buhari, other African leaders and critical stakeholders to take stock of current opportunities and challenges in the continent. This is aimed at developing context-specific and action-oriented recommendations and tools towards enhancing African ownership of the conflict prevention, sustainable peace and development agendas.
We are confident that the proceedings of the conference would strengthen the continent toward durable and sustainable peace and security.
Sustainable inclusive development is essential to fulfilling Africa's enormous potential.
It is indeed the responsibility of this generation of African leaders, policymakers and intellectuals to provide the homegrown solutions that the continent so desperately needs to protect present and secure future generations to come.
Security is fundamental. Without it, we cannot have any peace. So I think it behoves on all of us in the international community to figure out how we can help countries to address these exogenous security shocks that are independent of Africa, by the way.
Some members of the Nigerian delegation to the forum describe it as a thought-provoking conversation on the most serious development challenges, security concerns, as well as opportunities in Africa.
A continent that is expected to be the hope of the world in 30 years from now is engulfed in so many conflicts and crises.
Instead of keeping agonizing, we have to organize ourselves to ensure that we shouldn't be tied down by the past. We have to look for new ways of creating jobs and infrastructure so that our people will pick their pieces.
What do we do as a continent to stabilize the situation on the continent in the various countries, and also to prevent the reoccurrence of conflicts? Begin to emphasize development, begin to emphasize progress.
So will you describe this forum as very relevant to Nigeria?
It's very relevant to every African country, and I think if we can have more of this in order to understand our problems, to understand where we are going, to understand how we can mutually assist each country and possibly to become one in terms of progress, development, and what have you.
During the forum, which will last 2 days, attention will be focused on silencing the guns in Africa, sustaining peace in practice, advancing meaningful contributions of African women, energy security, as well as advancing Africa's partnership with the world in turbulent times. From Aswan, Egypt, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
In the meantime, President Muhammadu Buhari has made a strong representation to African leaders to take the part of honor by ensuring that the continent minimizes its reliance on donor funding for the execution of vital peace, security and development agenda. Speaking at the opening session of the Aswan Forum for Sustainable Peace and Development, the president said time has come for Africa to take its destiny into its own hands. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo again has the report.
The Africa we want is the focus of President Muhammadu Buhari's presentation to the forum, in which he dwelt extensively on key reforms towards achieving an integrated, prosperous and peaceful Africa, driven by its own citizens and representing a dynamic force in the global arena.
Nigeria has been funding by almost 100% the operation of the multinational joint task force fighting Boko Haram terrorists in the Lake Chad Basin. Nigeria is not only host to our sub-regional body ECOWAS, but has also been supporting substantially the ECOWAS budget up to about 60%. Africa would need to heavily invest in education as a key tool for the transformation and repositioning of our continent. Education creates opportunities and holds the key for a better and prosperous future.
He said in his efforts towards accelerating African integration, Nigeria has also taken the strategic decision to bring down barriers that have hindered the free movement of Africans within the continent. Beginning January 2020, President Buhari said all persons holding passports of African countries will be issued visa at the point of entry into Nigeria. The Nigerian leader made some suggestions on how Africa can live up to the aspirations of Agenda 2063.
Africa should embark on the provision of transport connectivity by enhancing the development of road, rail and air links, which will ease the free movement of persons, goods and services within the continent. In this regard, we in Nigeria have already commenced an aggressive drive to upgrade our rail transport system and road networks across the country. Africa needs to intensify the fight against corruption. The menace of corruption undermines our efforts to achieve sustainable development and realize the goals of AU Agenda 2063.
The president used the forum to make a case for, amongst others, economic diversification and job creation to discourage irregular migration to Europe, conflict prevention and resolution, as well as due attention to the issue of climate change.
The effect of climate change is at the root of some of the conflicts in parts of the continent. This is why we must focus on the issue of the recharging of Lake Chad, which used to provide livelihood to over 40 million people in the region. It is difficult to expect durable stability in the region without the restoration of the shrinking lake.
I think he understands where he's coming from and what can make us move forward. I think he's a leader that should be emulated.
Insurgency, as we all know, is something that has militated against development, particularly in the northeast of region and particularly Yobe and Borno, but gradually peace is returning.
Nigeria is on the right track. We're doing the things we need to do to ensure that we resolve or address some of the issues that create conflict in the first place. At least in my state, we've brought down drastically the incidence of human trafficking over the last 2 years.
Buhari was down to earth, sincere, because he gave examples of what our contribution were or will continue to be in order to see the African unity achievable.
Key recommendations, to be known as Aswan Declaration, will be issued at the end of the forum, which will set the agenda for future action as well as research on the linkages between peace, security and development in Africa. From Aswan, Egypt, Adamu Sambo, NTA News.
No, thank you so much, Adamu. Keep keeping us posted. And now back home, more than 40 billion naira was approved for road projects in Kano and Bauchi states by the Federal Executive Council, and it's meeting this Wednesday. State House correspondent Jude Onifade has the details.
Two memos were presented by the Federal Ministry of Works and Housing on road projects. The first was the reassigning of scope of work on a road project in Ijebu-Ode axis of Ogun State.
The other was the approval of two routes, the Tagwaye-Karasa road to Doguwa in Kano for 8.436 billion, and the Alkaleri to Futuk Road in Bauchi State for 32.015 billion. These are roads that were in the 2019 budget, so this is part of the implementation of the 2019 budget.
The Federal Ministry of Finance, Budget and National Planning sought and got the approval of Council for an automated platform which is to be used for the issuance of import duty exemption certificates and vehicle identification and registration numbers.
The portal will be managed by both the Ministry of Finance as well as the Nigerian Customs Service. The vehicle identification number, that is the VIN database, will be available for any user to access to find out information on vehicles. On our own part, on the IDEC component, we'll be able to see how much waivers have been granted to which sectors, and also track the performance of those waivers and reduce the cost subsequently for government.
The Federal Ministry of Health, on behalf of NAFDAC, sought and got approval for the purchase of 15 operational vehicles. Minister of State for Health, Olorunni Bemamora, briefed the press on this.
The cost comes to 307,562,330 naira 25 kobo for 15 Hilux vehicles, the capacity being 2.71.
Anthony Joshua will be presenting his belts to the president in one of days, and council members also express appreciation for the gift of books from the vice president, which has become an annual tradition.
The Wednesday FEC meeting was presided over by Vice President Yemi Osinbajo. In the State House, Jude Onifade, NJ News.
And the collaboration of the state authority and traditional rulers is imperative in the functioning of community policing. Vice President Yemi Osinbajo, at the opening of the 11th Assembly of a National Council of Traditional Rulers of Nigeria in Abuja, says this collaboration is important as the royal fathers have more knowledge of the ways of their people better than the security agencies. State House correspondent Jude Onifade again reports.
It is again that moment when the nation's traditional rulers share with government their experiences and offer advice on those salient issues that touch the lives of the people.
And I hope that the discussion here will
At today's 11th Assembly of the National Council of Traditional Rulers, Vice President Yemi Osinbajo reminds the royal fathers of their role, especially in the community policing strategy that has been designed to stem the tide of crimes in the country.
such, the vast network of confidence open to traditional institutions are uniquely positioned to provide government with valuable intelligence that can help detect criminal activity early and prevent or stop it before it escalates.
Apparently commenting on report of the Presidential Advisory Committee on the elimination of drug abuse, headed by General Buba Marwa, retired, the Vice President says the nation is now tragically on the onset of a public health emergency.
Consequently, drug abuse is as much an illness as it is a crime, and we must address it accordingly by combining the best practices in public health management with common sense criminal justice approaches that emphasize the reformation of young offenders. We must treat the affected, not ostracize them. We must work together to establish valuable prevention and resolution mechanisms, ensuring that young people everywhere are educated on the gravity of the risks involved in drug abuse.
In his address of welcome, co-chairman of the council and Ooni of Ife, Oba Adeyeye Enito Ogunwusi, reiterates this call for strong collaboration.
We know that the traditional institution is very key in everything we do in this country. And this time around, the government is supporting us. We all have, each and every one of us have a role to play. And we need to play that role very actively.
There should be, and that I think is one law that will protect the dignity, respect of international ruler, whether it's first class or 100th class.
By January, inshallah, we'll come to your communities and then get the membership that will constitute each of the community policing committee so that we start rolling out the process.
The theme of the assembly is imperative of community policing and menace of drug abuse, the role of traditional rulers. In Abuja, Jide Onifade, NT News.
Now, the saying that an idle mind is the devil's workshop has been an age-long proverb that ideally captures the spillover effect of idleness. Thinking in that direction, the Senate considered the issue of youth unemployment in Nigeria as an urgent matter for national concern and therefore called for the declaration of state of emergency on the persistent problem. National Assembly correspondent Ignatius Unko reports.
With less than 5 plenaries before its Christmas and New Year holidays, the Senate is exerting energy on issues that need prompt legislative intervention. One of them is the unemployment situation in Nigeria, as Senator Ike Ekweremadu drew the attention of the Senate once again to the growing rate of youth unemployment, which needs emergency approach. In view of this, the Senate also advised the federal government to create a sustainable unemployment fund, resuscitate moribund industries, and establish new ones.
To urge the federal government, through the Minister of National Planning, to put up a mechanism and program that will provide employment for our teeming unemployed graduates in all tiers of government.
That one of the major achievements of our government was the effort of President Muhammadu Buhari in making sure that the iron and steel complex is back into business. It was abandoned by previous administration.
A sustainable unemployment fund for the payment of living stipends to unemployed Nigerians and to such persons secure any kind of employment. Those in favor of prayer 4 say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it.
The legislators continued on the economy as they considered the bill that seeks to repeal the Federal Road Maintenance Agency Act of 2002 to establish the Federal Road Authority that will provide for ownership, regulation, management and development of federal roads, mainly to bring the private sector into funding of roads. The bill, sponsored by Senator Gershon Bassey, has been passed through second reading.
We have to immediately ensure that the 5% user pump price of petrol and diesel accruing to road maintenance agencies from PPPRA is remitted for that purpose.
Less than 5% of what we need is what we budget for roads. And why? Because the money is not even there. The model that has been applied now, which is working in most of these countries, is that of concessioning roads to private sector.
Industrialization cannot happen without adequate road network.
2 other bills were also passed through second reading. These include the Federal University of Agriculture and Technology, Okeogun, Establishment Bill, sponsored by Senator Abdul Fattah Buhari, and the bill that seeks to provide for constituency projects in annual budget of the Federation, sponsored by Senator Stella Odua.
Talents remain underutilized, if not supported with education and innovation. So there's a need to strengthen the education and innovation of the people of this area.
The Constituency Development Fund has been institutionalized in Kenya, Uganda, India, and Tanzania.
The Senate resolved to investigate alleged breach of Nigerian laws by foreign vessels in coastal shipping of petroleum products in Nigeria as moved in a motion by Senator Olalekon Mustafa. Well, the Senate has received the statutory budget of the Federal Capital Territory Administration for the 2020 fiscal year. The budget will be considered at a later date by the Senate Committee on FCT. From the National Assembly, Ignatius Nkwo, NTA News.
And the looming nationwide shutdown of electricity supply effective midnight Wednesday, as threatened by National Union of Electricity's employees, has caught the attention of the House of Representatives. And to avert this, the lawmakers during plenary decided to engage union representatives on the issue. National Assembly correspondent Lami Ali reports.
Tobi Okechukwu brought up the matter at plenary, which revolved around issues of salary, pension and other entitlements demanded by the electricity workers.
The union, having exhausted every avenue for resolution of the dispute, has no other option than to withdraw services without further notice.
21 days ultimatum was given. 20 days into that ultimatum, Ministry of Labour has not done anything.
Clerk, we invite the ministers of power, labor, and the DG pensions, because you mentioned pensions as part of their grievances, to meet with the leadership of the House 2 p.m. tomorrow.
The House, in response to a motion from Yusuf Buba, called for the provision of relief materials to victims of a recent attack by bandits in parts of Adamawa and Borno states, and adopted a motion raised by Abubakar Hassan Fulata on the need to restore peace in Kirikasama and some parts of Jigawa State following attacks by yet-to-be-identified persons. Meanwhile, the House has considered and approved the budget of Nigerian Communications Commission for 2020.
140,383,591,000 naira only.
A presidential communication on statutory budget proposal of the Federal Capital Territory for 2020 was also read at plenary. The lawmakers passed for second reading a bill for an act to amend Public Procurement Act, which made provision to raise mobilization fees paid to contractors from 10 to 30%, and a bill for an act to make compulsory teaching of Nigerian Constitution in schools. Other matters that featured at plenary were the first reading of 7 bills, one of which seeks to establish the South-West Development Commission as sponsored by the Speaker and 80 others. At a separate engagement, the Speaker, Femi Gbajabiamila, urged Nigerian youths to strive to achieve their aspirations as he hosted Mrs. Olasubomi Aina, who was recently honored with the title of the Member of the British Empire by the Queen of England. From the National Assembly, Lami Ali, NTA News.
In another story, the federal government says it remains committed to the respect of the nation's judiciary. Minister of Justice and Attorney General of the Federation, Abubakar Malami, stated this during a visit to the Chief Judge of the Federal High Court, John Tsohu. Judiciary correspondent Femi Okio reports.
In the midst of recent happenings, accusations, speculations, and explanations on events between the judiciary and some security organs, Minister of Justice Abubakar Malami breezed into the headquarters of the Federal High Court in Abuja to show that nothing has changed in the working relationship between the executive arm of government and the judiciary. Accompanied by the Solicitor General of the Federation, Dayo Akpata, and top management of the Ministry of Justice, Abubakar Malami said that the visit was to congratulate Justice John Tsohu.
This is a laid-down precedence that I have a responsibility to visit him, identify with him, and congratulate him over his appointment as the substantive Chief Judge of the Federal High Court.
But journalists will not take the visit on its face value.
We have multiple cases and more serious cases than that of Showere pending before the courts generally. We have an established tradition of respect for the sanctity of the court, for the sanctity of the courtroom and court premises, respect and interest for the independence of the judiciary. So our credentials relating to legislative process, our credentials relating to upholding the independence of the judiciary, I think speaks to us as a government.
The Federal High Court is a formidable part of Nigeria's judicial system, for which all arms of government rely upon for the resolution of disputes. The visit of the Minister of Justice would therefore go a long way in reinstating that confidence. From the Federal High Court, Abuja, Femi Okeowo, NTA News.
Well, thank you so much, Femi. And up ahead, an angry face of a governor over poor conditions of schools in parts of the state he governs. Details after the break. Please stay.
He is one today, Joshua.
Inner strength? Yeah, that comes from the hard knocks that life throws at us. And we Nigerians, we know all about that. We don't stay down, we get up and fight. Sure, it's about speed, technique, quality of the punches, reach. But the real fight is with myself.
It's the power, but it's the speed as well.
But I can't carry this heavyweight title by myself. There's always got to be someone in my corner. And that's why I believe in Glow. We have that same tenacity, that Nigerian fighting spirit that makes us game changers. You have to dig deep to be a world champion. Yeah, we Nigerians, yeah, we know all about that.
What a fight!
Glow, our halo.
Heavyweight champion of the world. Them girls just they feel me now, cause I get some money, then they feel me now. Back then they do me anyhow. I don't get some money, they want me. Oh yeah, shake body. Oh yeah, move body. Make you ring alarm. Oh yeah, shake body.
You don't really own a watch until you own a Chris Air. Until you own a Chris Air.
Black Watch by Chris Air.
Sexy. The Black Watch.
Beautiful.
The Black Watch. Magnetic. Sexy. Black.
Elegant.
Love the new Black Watch by Chris Air.
Chris Air.
Visit us at Transcorp Hilton Lobby opposite UBA, Abuja.
Breakfast your day, every day.
Nestle. Good food.
Since 1971, Nigeria's foremost human capital development institution, the Industrial Training Fund, ITF, has been at the forefront of equipping Nigerians with skills for national growth. Today's ITF has repositioned and refocused its programs, forging new partnerships locally and internationally to effectively deliver on its mandate. With 37 area offices and 5 industrial skills training centers across the country, ITF is pushing to reduce unemployment by providing relevant technical and vocational skills for employability and entrepreneurship in diverse trades and crafts. Whether you're a public or private organization seeking to improve the skills of your personnel or an individual looking to acquire skills that will increase your chances of employment or even to help start your own business, today's ITF has a program for you. Speak to us today. Contact our area offices nationwide or visit our website www.itf.gov.ng. ITF, developing the nation's human resource.
Everybody dance now. We are the strongest. No challenge can stop us so long.
Let Malta goodness fuel your greatness. Let's go.
1.5 million naira.
3 million naira.
500,000 naira.
75,000 naira.
10 million naira. 900,000 naira.
My house rent.
My family savings.
My children's school fees.
My trading money.
My business capital.
My contribution money of 1 whole year.
Over the last decade, Nigerians have lost billions of naira to illegal fund managers. Dreams and businesses have been destroyed, family savings and livelihoods wiped out. Do not join the growing list of victims. Shun unlicensed operators who offer extraordinary returns on investments. Say no to illegal fund managers. Invest and save your hard-earned money with only officially licensed banks and financial institutions. This message is brought to you by the Financial Services Regulation Coordinating Committee, FSRCC.
It is another morning. Not just an ordinary time. Start of a new day. A new beginning. As you prepare everyone for the long day ahead, just anything is not enough. It is only you who makes breakfast special. You make them creamy. You make them tasty. You add vitamins and nutrients we need for a delightful, healthy start to the day.
So start your day right with Hollandia Evap.
Hollandia Evap. Life tastes different. Hollandia.
Good to have you back on News Extra. Death is inevitable. Humanity has come to accept that. But when death comes in a manner not acceptable, it becomes a something else. That's why the family and neighbors of a Kano-based businessman, Mohammed Samani, are yet to recover from the shock of the death of their son, Musab, a graduate of computer science. Fatima Sanusi Arayo on a mission to unravel the mystery behind this death, allegedly committed over a minor disagreement, brought back this report.
His dream was to be an employer of labor. He worked hard and promised his parents not to disappoint them. But he could not live to prove to them he was on the right path. A young life untimely taken in its prime. Musab, a first-class graduate of an international university in India, returned to Nigeria 4 months ago. While he awaits the National Youth Service posting, the 22-year-old assumed leadership role in his family's rice milling company. But catastrophe struck on his way from the business outfit just few meters away from his father's house. Musab died instantly. The once vibrant and promising fella lies motionless on a street, gone in a blink of an eye.
This is where the incident happened. On that fateful day, 22-year-old Musab went about his normal business without any premonition that he's going to have a fatal encounter in just few hours. According to eyewitness reports, a policeman guarding a commercial outfit walked 2 blocks to this spot and shot Musab.
Standing, I saw 2 policemen who walked from that building and came and stood in front of the boy's car and pointed a gun at him.
While the family of the deceased are clamoring for justice, many questions are begging for answers, as the policeman that was alleged to have pulled the trigger live on the same street with the deceased family.
I'm just confused. The pain is too much. You do not do this even to an animal. Why? You just kill somebody without a reason just because you can? Why? This policeman that pulled the trigger knows the family of the deceased.
The suspect is currently in the custody of the police command.
We're taking every step to do justice to that case. The person has been arrested, he has been investigated, and then at the end of it, where the law will take the course.
As I was about wrapping up this interview, the mother of the deceased asked me a question, and I quote, "Why are those who are supposed to protect us killing us?" End quote. And I did not have an answer. In Kano, Fatima Sanusi Garai, NTA News.
No, a very sad and unfortunate one there, Fatima. Now, to another sad one, over 100 cases of fire outbreaks have been recorded in Benue State since the beginning of the year, leading to loss of lives and property. As the Harmattan sets in, Godwin Alegu takes a look at some precautionary measures to reducing the incidents in the state.
Record of fire outbreaks in Benue State since the beginning of 2019 shows that 103 cases of fire outbreaks
have been witnessed. The most unfortunate incidents were the recent inferno that razed a residential building, killing the family of 4 in Kwararafa quarters, Makurdi, and the fire that gutted Boku and Wadata markets, leading to the destruction of property worth millions of naira. To prevent future reoccurrence of fire outbreaks, that the Department of Fire Services, Benue State, has warned members of the public to guard against inflammable substances that will ignite fire outbreaks.
It's better to monitor even your children so that we prevent this fire outbreak. If you send your child to go and bring fire out or do anything that has to do with fire, you have to monitor the child critically so that you will not allow the child to misuse or carry the fire to a place where fire will start.
He also encouraged residents in the rural communities not to engage in reckless bush burning to minimize the menace. Following this advice, residents are therefore expected to adhere to early warnings to avert fire disasters. In Makurdi, Godwin Inalegu, NTN News.
Following 5 years of school interruption as a result of insurgency, Umar Ibn Ibrahim College of Education, Science and Technology and 3 senior secondary schools in Bama town will commence academic activities in February 2020. Borno State Governor Professor Babagana Umar Zulum said this when he visited the institutions as part of his official engagement in Bama. Mohammed Guni reports.
Civil authority was re-established in Bama headquarters of Bama local government in 2018, which paved the way for safe and voluntary return of residents. The present administration in the state is poised to ensuring that public servants return to their duty posts, including school teachers, to ensure service delivery to thousands of families who have already resettled. The governor's unscheduled visit was to compliance with attention shifted to school teachers this time around, visiting 16 primary and junior secondary schools within Bama town, where he conducted roll call of teachers. The governor was not happy with the low turnout of teachers and vowed to take disciplinary measures to serve as deterrent to others.
I think they have a total number of about nothing fewer than about 300 teachers. Out of this, only about 100 have functioned. For the past 1 year, nobody have seen them. And therefore, government will suspend only 200 of them, and then we shall recruit and ensure that normal academic activities will resume in Bama.
While in Bama, the government also visited Umar Ibn Ibrahim College of Education, Science and Technology, Government Secondary School, Indimi Village, and Borno State Hotel. Additionally, directive has also been given to upgrade 2 primary schools to commence academic activities as senior secondary schools. Meanwhile, Governor Babagana Umar says Kauri Village in Kandaga local government is to be resettled in February next year. The governor, who stated this while addressing residents of Kandaga, also announced that the reconstruction of Malari Village will also be completed to enable residents return home. He assured the people that schools will be reopened in the area, while food items will also be provided to them. In Maiduguri, Mahmoud Goni, NTA News.
Good news there, right? Well, keep up the good work. More women are increasingly taking on the role of breadwinners in their homes, requiring various skills to supplement their efforts. Recognizing this, the Defense and Police Officers' Wives Association, DEPOA, has been providing skills to empower such women and encourage self-sufficiency in youths. Najatu Tijani reports on skills acquired by the Batch 8 graduates of the Defense Skills Acquisition Center.
A fashion parade by models. Guess again. These are some of the Batch 8 graduates from the Defense Skills Acquisition Center showing off their creations. An initiative which more than 60 other beneficiaries, including youth, describe as a lifesaver.
After the death of my husband, I actually needed handwork so that I'll be able to cater for myself and my children.
I have 4 children. Everything went down because of the children's school fees, feeding and all that.
The Batch 8 graduates spent from 1 to 6 months learning catering, a host of other skills.
It is not easy to train people and empower them with starter packs in these difficult times. The DHQ appreciates this kind and noble gesture and hereby solicits for support for the FOA.
The Vanguard Agency for MSME Development, it is our conviction that the small businesses are the hopes and future of our nation.
Forward Skills Acquisition Center has come a long way since its inception. A total of 346 students, out of which 127 of them are widows, have graduated from this citadel of learning.
Beyond receiving their certificates, which signify their proficiency in the various skills acquired, it remains for the batch 8 graduates to give back to society. As the federal government works to provide access to capital markets for small and medium enterprises, the organizers say they're doing their bit to ensure that such small businesses which these graduates are expected to start will thrive in order to discourage dependence on oil. Naja'atu Tijani, NTA News.
And we wish them all the best. With the adoption and owning of one of the national social investment programs, Youth Employment and Social Support Operation YESO by Gombe State, 27,000 youths will be paid over 200 million naira monthly. Governor Inoya Haya revealed this when he flagged off distribution of credit cards to the beneficiaries. Emmanuel Akila reports.
War drums against poverty in Gombe State as Governor Inoy Haya presents credit cards for monthly payment of 7,500 naira with 5 months arrears to youth across the state. The youths are paid a monthly stipend to nurse to maturity the seedlings Governor Inoy Haya started planting in an initiative he calls Gombe Goes Green, simply put 3G, a program the state government designed in partnership with the World Bank to secure the environment.
With regards to the special grant transfer, which is another component of YESO, which is in the form of cash transfer to the poor and vulnerable, especially youth, women, aged, and people with disabilities, the SGT will provide the required social safety net to support those in need. It is also intended to take care of internally displaced persons.
The social safety net of YESO is not just for the employment of youths of today, but it is also to inculcate the culture of planting trees in the younger generation for good and sustainable environmental practices.
We are really appreciative, especially we youth and women.
The idea is trying to help the vulnerable and the poor and also achieving something for the environment.
Governor Inoy Haya intends to plant 4 million trees across Gombe State in the 4 years of his administration, with immediate gains of job creation and fighting environmental degradation. In Gombe, Emmanuel Akila, NTA News.
More Nigerians are reversing the narrative about the country by engaging in positive ventures that add value to humanity. And one of such is Olashubunmi Aina, a UK-based Nigerian philanthropist who was honored with the MBE award by the Queen. Elizabeth Omori was at the Nigeria's in Diaspora Commission when she came calling.
Olashubunmi Iginla Aina, a mother of 3, dedicated her life to redefining humanitarian services, gesture she began here in Nigeria while at OAU. Olashubunmi continued in the United Kingdom. She has catered to the needs of more than 10,000 people in different areas of life and rehabilitated 800 young people who are out of prison.
I want to use this opportunity to call on the leaders in Nigeria to give you the opportunity to be able to roll out some blueprints of some of the projects that we are designing currently to see how we can respond to the ills within our young people and the disadvantaged people in Nigeria.
The Diaspora Commission is ready to collaborate with you on your vision of helping out the younger ones. We'll also introduce you to the Minister of Youth and Sports, because I know that the ministry will need you to also collaborate with the ministry with a lot of youth programs that the ministry is embarking upon. So we'll serve as a bridge, a link between you and your country, and to be able to have you, do those selfless things that you want to do back home.
In recognition of these outstanding services to humanity in Nigeria, Africa, and a host community, United Kingdom, she's among those honored with a member of the British Empire Award by the Queen of England, based on the recommendation of the former British Prime Minister Theresa May.
I dedicate this award to the millions of Nigerian youths who are desperate to shake off the clog of poverty.
Impressed with these, the Chief Executive Officer of the Nigerians in Diaspora Commission, Abike Dabiri Erewa, made her the first diasporan ambassador of the commission. The Chief Executive Officer urged Nigerian youths to embrace initiatives capable of transforming lives positively, as exemplified by Olashubumi, whose 2015 Bag of Hope project featured in Guinness Book of Records. In Abuja, Elizabeth Omori, NTA News.
Wow, that's a huge one. President Muhammadu Buhari felicitates with his special advisor on social investment, Mariam Uwais, as she turns 60. A statement by Senior Special Assistant to the President on Media and Publicity, Garba Shehu, describes Mariam Uwais as a patriot whose visionary and committed leadership in driving the social investment programs remains steadfast. President Buhari wishes her sound health and more fruitful years in service to humanity and the nation. Now, if I may ask you, have you ever lifted a finger to help fight corruption? If not, after these messages, we will tell you how you can help. Please stay.
Easy motion.
Wishing you a Merry Christmas, Nigeria. Glow Unlimited.
The power of cool. Yeah, dial it back for a minute to the old school. Everybody love me when I do what I do. Cause when I come through, I got the power of cool. The power of cool. Nothing can stop you from achieving your dreams but you. Nothing can stop you from achieving your dreams. Chris is saying, believe in your originality and nothing can stop you.
Chris Air Fine Jewelry and Timepieces. Visit us at Transcorp Hilton Lobby opposite UBA, Abuja.
Hey, bro.
What's up, man?
Wait. Sure, send I won't device a card.
Enjoy more data than before on Airtel Home Broadband. Get up to 160 gigabytes on routers with 25,000 Naira and 55 gigabytes on Airtel MiFis with 12,000 Naira. More data, more you. Reliable home broadband by
Airtel, the smartphone network.
I think she's got the hots for me.
I think she likes me.
I don't think so.
I think she
Cut it out. That's my girlfriend. I'm out. Coming through. Yeah, that's it, baby. I'm all yours.
Woo-hoo! So tasty.
How is it going in there? Pretty cozy.
Mini-Me, taste the fun.
watch just now don't waka? No panic. No panic. You go do it by yourself like ABC. Oh yeah, press the menu button on top your remote. Scroll up and down till you see Information Central. Then press OK.
Press OK.
Check the signal strength and quality. If the signal strength and quality pass 70, make you press the exit button, go back. Go advanced options, then choose installation, then go to reset and press OK.
Press OK. Wow, now you self fit catch all those channels wey be one miss road by yourself. Yes, make your group for no loss. You see as I do am, abi? And I see as I do am.
Go TV, live it, love it.
And I see as we do am.
Welcome back. It has been observed that the judiciary has a major role to play in promoting a stable financial system for Nigeria. The Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer of the Nigeria Deposit Insurance Corporation, NDIC, Alhaji Umar Ibrahim, stated this at the opening of the 2019 Sensitization Seminar for Justices of the Court of Appeal. Femi Okil reports.
The Nigeria Deposit Insurance Corporation, by its mandate, relates constantly with the nation's courts. The legal issues involved in the operation of the deposit insurance system include deposit guarantee, supervision, and distress resolution, all of which are partly or wholly determined by the courts. This is why in the last 7 years, NDIC has organized sensitization workshops for justices of the Court of Appeal to help them understand and continuously update their knowledge in the deposit insurance system.
The management of NDIC is pleased to note that the series of sensitization seminars organized for judicial officers in the past 7 years have afforded the corporation the rare privilege of closely interfacing with the judiciary. The NDIC considers this collaboration a valuable investment in the development of Nigeria's financial system.
President of the Court of Appeal, Justice Zainab Bukachua, praised the partnership between NDIC and the Court of Appeal.
This collaboration will help promote healthy discourse and mutually inclusive strategic role played by the court and the corporation towards ensuring that the stability of financial system in Nigeria is sustained. In other words, our collaboration is essential to the positive growth of our economy.
Attendance was drawn from among justices in the 16 divisions of the court across the country. In Abuja, Femi Okeowu, NTA News.
About 2.5 years ago, precisely on July 22nd, 2017, the Auditor General of the Federation gave a report on defaulting agencies that have not submitted audited accounts, which range from irregular expenditures to failure to surrender revenue to the Treasury account, running into billions of naira. Now, to make these agencies comply with immediate effect, the Center for Social Justice has taken up the challenge to ensure the full compliance of these defaulting agencies. Ruth Aguele reports.
Nigeria's quest to have a stable economy prompted the nation to source for funds outside the country, among many approaches it has adopted. Now, the Center for Social Justice is of the opinion that such funds can be generated domestically if only some agencies comply with standard accounting practices. Citing the 2017 audit report of the Auditor General of the Federation, Anthony Ayine, where 160 agencies were said to have defaulted in submitting audited accounts for 2016 and 265 agencies for 2017.
It's a recommendation of the Auditor General that all deductions made as source be stopped and defaulting agencies should be appropriately sanctioned. This is the Constitution. The supreme law of the land. If there's any law setting up any of these agencies, it cannot override the Section 162 of the Constitution.
MDAs failed to remit revenue of about 20.7 billion naira, while irregularities in payments and expenditure was put at 26.6 billion naira, with 140 infractions identified in the payments made by the MDAs. Irregularities in contract award, execution and payment was put at 28.6 billion naira. Unretired loans and advances by MDAs was put at 4.1 billion naira, among other non-remitted revenues captured in the 2017 audit report. The Center for Social Justice is recommending a timely reconciliation of all revenues to ensure adequate management of public funds. In Abuja, Ruth Agola, NTA News.
And from Abuja, we'll take you to Lagos. Public participation in governance and making political offices less attractive have been identified as possible ways of curbing corruption in Nigeria. Annie Daniels reports that those were the views of some legal practitioners in Lagos as the launch of a compendium of high-profile corruption cases in Nigeria.
Administration, upon assumption in office, promised to fight corruption, bring to book those found guilty, and recover looted funds. These resource persons here applaud the federal government for leaving nothing to chance to actualize its dream, thereby recording success. They, however, frown at cases where public office holders who are standing trial for looting public funds are allowed to retain those funds while those cases go on in courts.
And how do you start addressing this? The need for justice reform is important. Some judges are handling more than 10 cases of these high-profile corruption cases. Then you start wondering, with other cases that are going to do, how is it going to be possible to dispatch this case within 1 or 2 years?
If we can extract those resources and put them on our roads, put them in our hospitals, put them in our schools, the country will go better. The need for public participation was also brought to the fore as means of curbing grafts, especially at the state and local government levels.
When the budget has been signed into law, when the appropriation bill is signed into law, we can take each of the items one by one and find out whether the law has been implemented.
These concerned Nigerians pointed out that the compendium is to further call on Nigerians to join hands with the federal government in stamping out corruption. In Lagos, Annie Daniels, NTA News.
Meanwhile, indigenous grains supply companies have taken the space in meeting the raw material needs of some major food and beverage manufacturers, saving billions of dollars in foreign exchange for Nigeria. This was made possible by the credit risk guarantee extended to the companies by the Nigeria Incentive-Based Risk Sharing System for Agricultural Lending, NARSAL. Abdullahi Mohammed was in the delegation of the top management of NARSAL assessment of the operations of 2 grain supply companies in Zaria.
Chikaji Industrial Layout, vibrant once again, with the Zazzau Royal Fathers topping the roll call to thumbs up the federal government policy which makes big-time blue-chip companies look inward for their raw materials. And that was the icing on the cake for companies like Nalmaco, which keeps getting high-profile requests for supply of grains, approaching its banker Stanbic IBTC for that huge fund needed to carry out the refining and supply of the grains couldn't have been possible without yet another government initiative which empowered NISL to offer a credit risk guarantee. The difficult days for Nalmaco are over now, and its backbone, NISL, keeps an eye. Same goes with Lorry B and DP Ventures. It operates a 45,000 metric tons capacity grain refining and packaging plant in the heart of a village known as Kwarimbala in Zaria, with hundreds of hands engaged. Its driving force, an initial 1.8 billion naira facility from Stanbic IBTC and subsequent 1.8 billion naira, totaling 3.6 billion. Aliu Abdul Hamid, the managing director and chief executive NISL, is passionately driving the process.
The big picture is this: if we can succeed with farmers in Zaria working with Lorry B,
completely, and Stanbic is happy that they are getting their money back and our guarantee is safe. Why can't we take this same model to scale across the country?
And we are looking forward to a greater future with them, mutual relationship with NASA.
Grassroots farmers like Idris Abdul Qadir Rogo are at the receiving end, smiling to the bank and hailing the agricultural policies of the Buhari administration. So far, more than 690 agribusiness entities across the country have benefited from NISAL CRG. And with the pace at which the agro-lending guarantee scheme is going, the business of agriculture will be the new bride of the banks who before now shy away. In Kaduna, Abdullah Muhammad, NTA News.
A very interesting development there. Now, it is getting increasingly difficult for criminals to get away with crimes across borders as security agencies have stepped up their game in cracking down on all forms of illegalities. The most recent success was recorded by the Nigerian Navy as it arrested a vessel on the Lagos waterways. Dutun Ogunyemi reports.
Daily, the Nigerian Navy is constantly beaming its searchlight on the nation's territorial waters to check and counter criminality. These efforts have over the years produced results, and yet another was made 77 nautical miles southwest of Lagos Fairway Buoy on the 2nd of December with the arrest of MV Team Begele without valid approval for 370 metric tons of diesel.
We dispatched one of Nigerian Navy vessels, NNS Unguru, to intercept her and interrogate her. More so, the product on board could not be substantiated as to the genuineness and approval to have the product on board. In a similar manner, the base carried out a 2-day operation on the Atlas Cove Island from 4th to 5th of December 2019, based on credible intelligence. And during the raid, the base discovered that there were several illegally constructed shacks containing empty jerrycans.
From that operation at the Atlas Cove, 33,250 empty 25-litre jerrycans were recovered. And to put it in monetary terms, the nation would have lost 120,531,250 naira if these jerrycans had been filled with petrol. The Navy says it will continue its investigation of the arrested vessel while assuring of effective security for legal maritime trade. In Lagos, Dotun Ogunyemi, NTA News.
And when we return from the break we're about to take, we'll let you in on the significance of Christmas carols and 9 lessons.
They feel me now, cause I get some money, then they feel me now. But then they do me anyhow. I don't get some money, they want to get it. Oh yeah, shake body. Oh yeah, move body. Make you ring alarm. Oh yeah, shake body.
My name is Yemi Adetunji, the COO downstream of NNPC. Ever since the closure of the borders, we have seen a marked reduction of about 10% in terms of the evacuation of what you call loadouts of PMS, which equates to about 6 million liters per day, essentially because of the border closure. Because of certain aspects we've also done as NNPC, working with our sister organizations, sister agencies, Nigerian Customs, DPR, Federal Ministry of Petroleum Resources, and other agencies, and also what we call Operation White, which is an intervention we have put in place to trace and track every molecule of petroleum products as they arrive in country through the vessels, as they move through the depots, and as they're evacuated with trucks out of the depots.
You are about to witness the commencement of the most stimulating and compelling contest on television. This contest is only for the strong, the intelligent, and the talented. Get ready for the Unity Challenge reality TV show. Coming soon.
Gettina is still with us on News Extra. Nigeria Air Force says it will continue to apply offensive strategies in the theater towards weakening the capacities of Boko Haram insurgents in the northeast region. Chief of Air Staff, Air Marshal Sadiq Abubakar, stated this in Maiduguri while assessing performance of troops on the front line following the launch of Operation Rattlesnake. Abubakar Mohammed Musa reports.
These are soldiers of the Nigerian Air Force preparing to embark on a mission to selected locations within the northeast region to further degrade remnants of Boko Haram insurgents as well as deny them safe havens and freedom of action following the launching of Operation Rattlesnake last Tuesday. Major successes have been recorded so far since commencement of the operation as series of airstrikes by the Nigerian Air Force aircrafts had resulted in the neutralization of several terrorists. This includes destruction of their structures at their tactical headquarters in Parisu, as well as Garin Maloma, both on the fringes of Sambisa Forest in Borno State.
I'm very happy with the progress we have made. We have identified quite a number of targets and we have neutralized them, and this will continue.
The air interdiction, in collaboration with surface forces, also led to the killing of several terrorists in addition to exposing a significant number of Boko Haram fighters. The Nigerian Air Force maintained that the launching of Operation Rattlesnake will pave way for more successes in the theater. In Maiduguri, Abubakar Mohammed Musa, NTA News.
Community of Anise in the neighborhood of NTA Lafayette has developed a homegrown peace initiative to restore the community to path of sustainable development. Jamila Abubakar visited the community to see how the initiative is working.
Anise, a peaceful and quiet community which is just a stone throw from Lafayette city center, is home to Megili and Fulani. The major preoccupation of the people of Anise is farming as they contribute to the state economy. However, the once peaceful community was recently in the news for sad commentaries as people believed to have lived for many decades as brothers and sisters took arms against each other. Many were displaced and property destroyed. But there is a ray of hope with renewed synergy among the warring parties to lay down their arms and embrace peace. The collaboration between farmers and herders in Anise community is yielding positive results as both of them complement each other. The peace initiative is to ensure true reconciliation and build bridges of unity and love. Samuel Aje is a farmer, while Mohammed Dahiru is a headsman.
They used to help us in working when we finish our work. As you see them, you will see them, they will enjoy eating all the grass and everything in the farm. After we pack all our products.
We often sit together to reconcile in cool and peaceful manner when there are conflicts amongst us.
Peace is precious, and so the newfound peace should be guided so as to promote peace, love, and progress. In Lafayette, Jamila Abubakar, NTA News.
Sure, Jamila. Unity and peace is key. In order to live up to her mandate as the lead agency for road traffic administration and safety management in Nigeria, the Federal Road Safety Corps says it will continue to refine road safety strategies in line with contemporary world best practices. The Corps Marshal of the Federal Road Safety Corps, Boboe Oyeyemi, made this known at the inauguration of Akwa Ibom State Sector Command. Evelyn Badu-Ekpo has details.
The permanent Head Office of the Federal Road Safety Corps in Akwa Ibom State has 32 offices. One public enlightenment office and conference hall is to help improve on the Corps' productivity level while ensuring a conducive atmosphere to discharge their duties effectively. The Corps Marshal, Federal Road Safety Corps, Boboyo Yeyemi, says the Corps will continue to develop strategies that will implement the core mandates of the FRSC towards sustaining adherence to all road safety practices.
Let me first of all thank Mr. President for providing the fund. When you have a conducive working environment, it increases the productivity.
Today's event marks another landmark towards the realization of the Federal Road Safety Corps vision of having a permanent office structures for formations across the country.
It now behoves on the personnel to ensure that they key into management's intention and focus.
Akwa Ibom State Governor Udom Emmanuel commended the Corps towards exhibiting high level of professionalism and discipline and charged them to continue to maintain integrity and ensure safety of motorists and travelers on Nigerian roads.
If all those who are troubling me for rent can do something like this, we will add to the aesthetics of our own city and also contribute to the economic development of this place.
High point of the event was the inauguration of the complex by Governor Udom Emmanuel and tour of facilities. In Uyo, Evelyn Badu Ekpo, NTA News.
In the meantime, work on the Abuja-Kaduna Zaria highway is advancing, but impatience and recklessness of some motorists is impeding free flow of traffic, sometimes leaving travelers stranded for hours. With the Yuletide season here, Abdullahi Mohammed takes a look at the daily experiences of motorists plying the road.
Fender to bumper, a queue of inconvenience. The order of the day for commuters who ply the Kaduna-Zaria highway on a daily basis. It is on a normal day a journey of 45 minutes, but sometimes motorists spend the whole day slugging it out in gridlock. Gridlock that surfaces as a result of the ongoing reconstruction of the Abuja-Kaduna-Kano highway. The #1 citizen of Kaduna State sometimes lend a helping hand in managing the gridlock. Patience and orderliness could have made it easier, but that is not in the minds of many caught up in the scenario, so they resort to doing the odds, which exacerbates the situation. There are two major flashpoints on the road where motorists negotiate diversion, and there lies the major bottleneck. Here is one of the diversions located at Rigachukun. If you are caught up in gridlock here, you have only one option. You will take a U-turn here and then follow another untarred road, and it will take you about 30 minutes before you get to Birninyero. Birninyero, a town that you will get to in 5 or 10 minutes following the major highway here. And if you are caught up in Birninyero, you will have to make a U-turn there, come back to Maraban Jos, and then embark on a journey that will take you through Trunku at least an hour before you can get to Zaria. Tens of thousands of vehicles ply this road daily, and now the Yuletide is setting in, and that means more travelers and more vehicles on the road. During the preceding festive periods, many travelers spend grueling hours in gridlock at the two major diversions along Kaduna-Zaria Expressway. Muazi Yunusa is a commercial vehicle driver. He said he will not forget in a hurry the frustrating hours he spent in a gridlock within one of the diversions.
Sometimes the gridlock is caused by impatience.
Experience, they say, is the best teacher. But has that taught the supervisors of the contract a lesson so as to plan with a view to easing the pains associated with the gridlock?
Before the later period, that open place will open up, and vehicles traveling will have the benefit of using both sides of the road.
The cheering news, however, is that work has advanced in all the sections of the road undergoing reconstruction. And motorists like Haruna Yunusa are looking forward to the day both lanes of the expressway will be open for use. In Kaduna, Abdullahi Mohammed, NTN.
Thank you so much, Abdullahi, for that. A good understanding of the saying government cannot do it alone played out in a small agrarian community in Delta State when its citizens, through contributions, funded the construction of 2 U-turns along Benin-Onitsha Expressway. Kelvin Ogbeche, who witnessed the inauguration of the project by the Delta State government, tells us that the community now appeals to government at all levels to help with other needs.
An agrarian community in Onitsha South local government area of Delta State, Oblokiti, is located along Benin-Onitsha Expressway, which connects the southern part of the country to the east. This, in addition to its popularity for fresh palm wine, makes it a preferred stopover for transporters. This traffic to the town makes the need of a U-turn compelling. Determined to develop the community, ensure safety on the road, and support the efforts of the government, the community resorted to self-help by constructing 2 U-turns.
For a very long time, my people have been suffering here. You can't turn. And most of them take a very terrible risk in crossing the road from the farm side on the other side. We have been having casualties here. And Oblokiti is the only town from here to Benin that lacked this U-turn.
The Delta State government says it's the way to go for faster development.
There's need for community to complement efforts of government by embarking on communal projects with as of benefit to the community and others that live around such communities.
The community, however, wants governments at all levels to come to its aid by providing other needs to make life better for the people. The community relies on wells and streams for its water supply, as the government water project started by the NDDC has been left unattended for years. Also, the major road leading to the community from the expressway is in a deplorable condition. Fixing this will not only make life easier, but also improve the economic life of the people known to be peaceful and hospitable. Kelvin Ogbeche, NTA News.
Now, carols are a major signpost heralding the celebration of Christmas, which marks the birth of Jesus Christ. Both religious and corporate organizations commemorate this birth with yearly Christmas carols and 9 lessons to get people in the mood for the season. In this report, Abiola Ario examines the significance of carols and 9 lessons.
It's December, that time of the year when Christmas festivities deck the landscape, as people prepare to commemorate unarguably the most celebrated festival in the Christendom, the birth of Jesus Christ over 2,000 years ago. Everywhere you go, celebration is in the air, from generous decorations of streets and monuments, and of course, rendition of Christmas songs. The Choir of Christ Heritage Assembly Akure, one of the choir groups which participated in the NTA Akure Christmas carols and 9 lessons. Almost all churches and institutions like the NTA organize yearly carol services, usually between the 1st and 24th of December, to get people into the mood of Christmas and deepen the message of Christ.
In Luke chapter 2, it is said that after the announcement, there was songs being rendered by a host of heavens, saying, "Glory to God in the highest."
To hold the programs is our contribution to the society where we belong, to further the cause of Christ, and to bring very many under the fold, and to rejoice as we celebrate another Christmas, share the joy of Christmas with the community.
Christmas carols are sometimes simple melodies carrying powerful messages about the divine conception and humble birth of Jesus Christ.
Carol, there must be healing of souls. In every good carol, there must be restoration of hope. In every good carol, there must be assurance of the goodness of God in the lives of the people.
9 biblical passages are read during Christmas carol services, and I dare ask, why 9 lessons?
talk of 9 is talking about fullness, completeness, accomplishment, because it is after 9 months that children are born.
As Christmas festivities get thicker and preparations take a higher tempo, religious leaders advise that Christians must not forget the reason for the season, which is Jesus Christ. From Akure, Abiola Rio, NTA News.
A very interesting and informative one, I must say. Now, so far, so good. But one more segment to go. Let's get there together after these messages.
Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Boss Mustafa, on behalf of the government and people of Nigeria, in conjunction with Ekaite family, regret to announce the death of late Chief Ufot Joseph Ekaite, retired Federal Permanent Secretary, former Secretary to the Government of the Federation. Activities lined up for the funeral are as follows. Friday, 13th December 2019, service of songs at the deceased compound, time 6 to 10 p.m. Saturday, 14th December 2019, 8 to 9:30 a.m., lying in state at the deceased compound, 10 to 12 a.m., funeral service, venue, St. Joseph's Anglican Church, Ikotedo, Ona, local government area, Akwa Ibom State. Interment at the deceased compound after the funeral service. You are cordially invited. Announcer, Boss Mustafa, Secretary to the Government of the Federation.
Welcome back. President Muhammadu Buhari has condemned terrorist attack in western region of Nigerian Republic near the Mali border, where 67 military personnel were killed, with others still missing. President Buhari reaffirmed the resolve of his administration to sustain commitment in the fight against terrorism and strengthen partnership in neutralizing the insurgents in Africa. The president also condoled the government and people of Nigerian Republic over the attack. And now to sports. Boxing heavyweight champion of the world, Anthony Joshua, is still relishing his victory over Andy Ruiz Jr., while he remains mindful of the next challenger for the 4 titles currently with him. Adeji Makinde tells us more about this British boxer.